Welcome to the Blue Juju podcast, full of fun and exciting weird news and facts, brought to you by me and Ron. My name's Jonas. My co-host, as always, his name is Ron. How you doing, Ron?
Hey, Ron. Sorry, was off there on the internet looking at logic tactics.
That's what we do, sir.
Yeah.
We scour the internet for strange and obscene news and bring it to you, and we call it the Blue Juju podcast. Well, in our, I believe it's our 15th installment of said Blue Juju podcast. So we're becoming veterans here, sir.
Yes, we are. We are veterans. Veterans of the news wars.
So, that being said, I think you probably should be familiar with us by now if you're actually watching us. Then, you know what we do. And we're going to get right into it. At the very top of our program, we like to go over all the headlines, weird, strange news that we find on the internet and deliver it to you. And we call it headlines. It's true.
Headlines we deem important.
All right.
Yes. Well, my headline today is India. You would think that India, the home of Gandhi, would be a peace-loving place and full of people that were culturally adept and advanced.
It's not what I think of when I think of India, but sure.
A land of culture, a land of history.
Yes, lots of culture.
Lots of culture.
Lots of culture.
This came as a shock to me. Here is a woman that teaches French in India, and she asked her class of 25 who they thought was the most admirable person in history. Now these, to give you a little history, these are upper middle class Indian children, and they should be a little bit more advanced than somebody from the Calcutta slums, I would believe.
Yes.
Right.
Those bastards in the Calcutta slums don't know what the
poor
hell.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she was shocked and surprised. One of her students picked Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, but 9 picked Adolf Hitler.
He was very influential.
Well, yeah, she
didn't say negative or positive. So, really, it was her fault.
Yeah.
Be more specific.
Right, and she quizzed them further and asked them, well, why Hitler? And he says, oh, well, he was a good orator. Well, okay, yeah, he was a good orator. Yeah, he mesmerized an entire country, but you got to examine his message. And he says, well, what about all the people that got killed and everything else like that, the millions that Hitler killed? And it's, well, some of those were traitors to the fatherland, I guess. I don't know. So that's a really disturbing thing that 9 out of 25 of middle class students in India in this particular area thought that Adolf Hitler was the man to be admired, and I would imagine be emulating.
Well, they got some really strange stuff going on over there in Europe. I don't know if you're following it, but as far as like what is it, Egypt, the uprising again in Egypt, the president that put himself in power without basically he was trying to make himself a dictator. Mm-hmm. He had a signed that says basically he can't be held accountable for him, and his associates cannot be held in a court of law for anything that they do. So basically, that being so, the Egyptians, another uprising, they're mm-hmm. over there, but then also, it's the exact same situation that we found ourselves in World War I, mm-hmm. As far as the economy. It's doing the exact same thing, and then we're basically reliving history, and we'll see if it gets to the point where it did.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I'm not just saying in Europe. I'm saying in Spain mainly. Europe is, obviously seeing some backlash of whatnot. But yeah, there's a really, I mean, keep an eye on the European front. That's all I'm saying. It seems like that's where all the trouble comes from, is Germany. it's bastards.
Well, it's the idea, and dictators, whenever they become dictators, they always consider that they are not accountable for their actions because...
Well, they just went through this uprising, though, and not too long ago. That way they could actually vote for a president. So they voted for a president. Now this president is, he's part of the
Islamic?
Muslim Brotherhood.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but so they're going, they're
going backwards.
Going backwards. So, but basically, at least they're not laying down and taking it. They're, gathering in drones, and I think, it'll be another...
Drones, yeah. Well, that's a good thing, whenever you see...
But what I meant by the whole conversation is people only remember the bad stuff. They don't remember. It's in human nature to only remember bad things. And when you're got someone like Adolf Hitler, obviously, it just rings of evil. And you can't help. You don't think of Adolf Hitler before you think of Gandhi. That's just the bottom line. It's like
yeah, I agree. Adolf Hitler is a very much more on people's mind than Gandhi, because Gandhi had a totally different mindset. But Hitler was the epitome of anger and evil.
He's Deutschland.
Right. I mean, yeah, he was for Germany. I mean, he from all accounts he did love Germany, but he loved the Germany that he wanted to create. He cared nothing for anything that wasn't in his persona or mindset.
Here's a fun fact. Back in was it 1960? Mm-hmm. Germany repealed zoology or what is it when zoophilia, so that it was legal, and now it's on the board again because people want to make it illegal again. So it's being voted on right now to make zoophilia illegal again, but some people aren't having it.
Nah.
So fun fact there about Germany, and that's recent news. But that is not my headline. My headline comes from I believe Japan.
All right.
No, Chinese. A Chinese husband sues his wife for being ugly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's insult to injury, right?
Right. Well, why did he marry her? That's the question.
See, this is where the plot thickens.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he had a child with this woman. Yeah, he loved and adored his beautiful wife. Had a child with her. Well, the child, when it came out, didn't resemble him or her. So he was like, "What the hell is going on?" Basically, he had an ugly kid, And he's like, "What the hell's going on? You must have been cheating on me or whatever." She's like, "Well, no, I didn't cheat on you, but I did forget to mention that I had $100,000 in plastic surgery before we met."
Aha!
So, and so she says in her defense, she's like, "It's not something that comes up in a first date," and then, but he sues her for $120,000 and won for being ugly.
well, that's the sad part, and the other sad part is that if you have a child, that you should love it. I mean, no matter. Hey, I don't love you because you didn't get a straight A's in school, or I mean, children and people are just people.
I thought, well, yeah, it's true, but I thought that was hilarious. It
is.
I was like, that way you can threaten your spouse. Now that this has been, upholded in a court of law in China, you'd be like, you could always threaten your spouse. You could say, "Hey,
yeah,
lay off the cheesecake." Or I'm gonna sue you for being ugly.
I'm gonna sue you for ugly.
No, I don't think it's that simple. But nonetheless,
it starts a precedent.
It's pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, it's hilarious. and hopefully, my wife doesn't sue me.
But I think. Well, I mean, I don't think it's something that would uphold in one of our courts. But who knows? Stranger things happen. But there was also an account, this is weeks and weeks back that I ran across this, is a guy sued his wife for, wife and his wife's mother his wife's mother for not teaching her how to treat a man, and then because she didn't save him the big piece of chicken.
Sued them, right?
Yeah, sued him.
Wow.
And I think he won like a goat or something. I don't know what it was.
Where was that?
It was some third world.
Some third worldy place?
Yeah.
I'm going to move this a little closer. Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, that's disturbing that people are so petty that they can't overcome their minor differences.
Well, now, I mean, think about the poor guy. Now he has to deal with an ugly kid. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Apparently, these people have too much money and not enough sense.
I like to look at the other side of things.
Yeah,
just to give it a little perspective.
Are we playing the devil's advocate here?
I like to look at it at all angles.
Right. Well, I'd say that's a gift. I have a tendency to be too logical and not, pragmatic. How's that? But if you're pragmatic and logical, you won't do what this robber did.
What did this robber do?
Oh, well, Anthony Bundrage, 28. Yeah, 28 was arrested in Syracuse, New York, in October. Now, he was a bank robber, and he robbed the bank successfully. Right. He successfully robbed the bank.
Good for him.
Yeah, but he left a note there with the teller. He demanded $20,000. That's what his note demanded. So, but he apparently got outside the bank some distance away and counted the money, and there wasn't $20,000 there. So he went back. He went back to the bank and was standing outside the door, waiting to be let in so that he could re-rob the place for more money, because they didn't, pony up the amount of cash, and he was waiting there patiently while the police arrived, to get back into the bank, right? Because they had locked the doors.
That's I don't know. I guess, he's obviously not in the right mindset anyway, and he definitely didn't know how to get away with it. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say he ranks up there with some of the stupidest criminals of all time. I mean, at least he didn't get stuck in an air chute and suffocate, but not too swift and not too bright.
Definitely not.
No. That goes in the stupid criminal file.
Oh, yeah. I have a stupid police officer story
All
for
right.
you. Let's see here. This lady, she's a sheriff.
Or was a sheriff?
Well, no, she still is.
Still a sheriff?
Yeah, she's on leave right now.
Okay. They haven't fired her yet.
Yeah, I guess not. But she goes by the name on the online name of Lucille Baller.
Ooh.
And but apparently she had put out a rap video. And the Dallas Police Sergeant Regina Smith, who produced a video which she performed under the name of Lucille Baller, has been placed on an administrative leave over the song Dallas Morning, because she's portraying a rapper. And she's like, I'll stick a cap in you if you fuck with me, I'll do this with you, my gun. And apparently that's not a recommended conduct for an officer that carries a gun.
Right.
And the story goes on, and obviously, she has a record label apparently under this name, but she's put out a few different ones, and apparently this is the one that got her. But some pretty weird lyrics, basically how she's gonna shoot people and kill people in general.
Mess them up.
Yeah. And then but then I went on to read the article, and it said that her husband had died I guess he was a police officer too, but he had died in the line of duty in 2009.
Okay.
And I was like, well. That started to make me feel bad for the lady. I was like,
right.
But I guess, you just gotta.
Yeah, she maybe suffered a lot of trauma, and maybe this is one of her ways to work through it, but perhaps not the most intelligent way.
Yeah, well, unfortunately she got caught under her name, Lucille Baller, and she was dressed in provocative clothing and a red wig, like Lucille Ball. You know,
Oh,
that's Lucille
Lucille
Baller.
Ah,
See?
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but apparently, like that is unfitting conduct of a police officer.
Yeah.
So-
You got me now.
So she's on leave, and
After the broadcast, I got to see the video. You know. What I mean?
well, I haven't watched it, but
Yeah?
I'm not a big fan
Of Lucille.
Well, she
Baller,
looks like
yeah.
a man, actually. She has a red wig on, but she's black, but she looks like a black man with a red wig on.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, so she got. If her husband had survived, he probably would have sued her
Sued
for
her.
being ugly.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he could. And can we sue her for being ugly?
I don't know, tough call.
maybe we can. Yeah.
I think we'd have to have a kid with her, and that's just not gonna happen.
Okay. We can't just sue somebody for being ugly.
I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. I'm not a lawyer.
You ugly, I'm suing you.
Right.
Well, yeah, it just boggles the mind.
But that's all I got for headlines.
Yeah.
If you want to move on to space news, we'd like to do a little segment on Blue Juju podcast, and we call it Space News and Technology.
Space news
And technology.
Well,
That graphic never gets old.
that's right. Nicely done. And hey, I like the intro.
I like the little tinkle at the end. Adds a little something to it. Anyway, I digress.
It sets the mood and puts you in a plane where you can contemplate all the vast mysteries of the cosmos.
That's right.
Right. You might not think of Mars as a habitable planet, since it's the closest to the sun, and at the equator it's 800 degrees Fahrenheit. But NASA has recently discovered that there is water on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not Mars, on Mercury.
Right.
And that they're now looking at the possibility, since it has such a weird tilt to its axis. In other words, its north pole is tilted away from the sun, and actually there are areas on Mars that, Mercury, that has water, and a considerable amount of water. And I have a graphic up here that you can look at, a picture, and it shows that there are numerous craters there with water in it. They surmise that the water came from meteors and asteroids that hit Mercury and hit them in a right location. So there are pools of water there. That means that in some of these craters, if they last long enough, life could be found and maybe growing right now.
Yeah.
So.
You know, that's this kind of research is popping up all over the place, but just recently they drilled into a Arctic bed and found that life is flourishing where they thought it wouldn't be, and there's green plankton and large vegetation at the bottom of these very Arctic regions that they thought to be barren at first. And like I said, this just came out maybe a couple days ago. I heard about this, and so now. What is it? They're, obviously they've always been interested in Jupiter's moons, but there's one in particular that they're interested in because the majority of it is ice, and then they assume there's oceans under that ice. But but now they're like, well, now it's even more probable. But all these news of new life, it's I'm kind of jaded by it because I don't care about microorganisms or even if they found a cockroach, I was like, well, not impressive. We have them here. Find me some intelligent life.
Well, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. But if there's other biological life even in this solar system, that means that it's far more likely that we would have life in other solar systems.
Yeah, but haven't we already known that? I mean,
yes, of
course.
Of course we know that, but there's life on other planets, on other stars.
I mean, for them to say,
know that,
now if they said, "Hey, we found this weird fruit tree that's growing. I'd be like, cool, what kind of fruit is it? Because I might think it's tasty. You know? I'd be like, that's news to me.
Right.
You know? They were like, we found this one animal. It's like a turkey, but bigger. I'm like, sweet, I love turkey.
Bring it on.
Bring me some of that.
I want some Mars critter.
It's like when you eat it jacks you up with testosterone, and then you get bigger.
Right.
You know.
Right. And
more fit.
Right. Automatically because of the structure of the proteins
Yeah.
and you just assimilate the.
And then I'll just be like, it's natural.
Goodness.
It's natural.
Right.
I just eat space turkeys. That's all.
Right. You can't get me for going after fauna here on the Earth. I just eat the space turkeys and.
Difficult it was to find a space turkey.
I'm sure there's some out there. I'm definitely sure.
That's some headline news right there.
That's right.
As soon as they find a space turkey, you let me know.
Yeah, that would be an incredible thing to find a form of life, and
let's eat it.
That's the second thought man would have. Well, how does it taste?
Let's give it a whirl, Earl.
Yeah,
you're up.
Right.
But no, in space news, something that's been circulating on the web, the largest black hole ever discovered has just recently been discovered at a staggering, let's see here, 17 billion times the size of our sun.
Ooh.
Yeah. And astronomers on Wednesday apparently said that they had found the possible biggest black hole ever observed. The black hole is unexpected as it is vast. So, I mean, this thing is rather large. It's in a galaxy that's only a tenth the size of ours. So it takes.
You know why?
Yeah. Well, it takes up the majority of it.
Oh.
And like I said, it's 17 billion times the size of our sun.
Wow.
So.
I'm saying that that might be a
11
really,
times wider than Neptune.
That's incredible. I can't, I mean, the numbers are such that it's hard to wrap your mind around it. I mean, it's hard to imagine such a killer beast.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's a.
It's almost it's 14% the size of a galaxy.
It's a galaxy killer.
Well, it's 14% of. Okay, say like our galaxy's huge.
Right. It's 14%.
It's 14% of that.
My God.
So it's huge.
Wow. Wow. I would say that it's probably had a tasty snack of.
It had a space turkey.
Yeah. Had some tasty space turkey. Says, I like that. I like all those pretty stars out there and everything else. Just sucked it all in, right?
That's right. But yes, scientists are baffled. They said it was a very unexpected event to find this. And in addition to its size, the center of the small disc-shaped galaxy, where the black hole is, would have been expected in a far bigger galaxy. Obviously, this is a very small galaxy, but we probably know why. It's a very small galaxy.
Yeah, the gravitation is so intense that anything. Yeah, it probably started out as a big galaxy.
Yeah. Well, okay. Think about it this way. These are the numbers they're throwing at me. So this is how I'm rationalizing it.
Wow.
Say take our galaxy, right, the Milky Way, and then shrink it down to a tenth of its size. Okay, and then take 14% of that of our galaxy and put it in the small galaxy. See what I'm saying? It's just basically it's a big black hole.
It's a big black hole.
It'd be about the size of our solar system, ish. Probably bigger, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. It's yeah. Amazing.
Quite large.
Amazing.
Imagine how many space turkeys you got to eat to get that big.
Space turkey train.
That's right. I'm gonna be selling space turkeys.
How about a T-shirt? I love space turkeys.
That's right. I ate a space turkey. I ain't scared.
I was the
Nutritious
first.
and delicious.
I was the first.
Yeah.
Tastes just like space turkey.
But do you have technology and space news?
Oh yeah. Well, you had that announcement. I think it was on one or two podcasts ago about NASA, and we about the amazing discovery that they were gonna let out, and they gave
yes.
a date, December 21st.
Yes. Well, it was released on November 21st, and I said within a month we're not telling you.
Oh, okay.
So it just so happened to be that
It will be a month
Yeah,
on December
December
21st, which
yeah.
they made exactly that. Well, now they're waffling and saying, well, it may be something big. It may not be something big. Don't read anything into what the guy said. It's going to change the history books. I think that's, he didn't say science books. He said history books.
Yeah.
History and science are they're history is an overview of science as well. You can have scientific history.
Right. Well, the problem, like I think we discussed this shortly before the podcast a little bit, but what I had been saying to you shortly before the podcast is if you let people's imagination run away with something, that was their first mistake, because all of a sudden you're not just going to have, well, they may have found organic life, which I think is probably what happened, or maybe not at this point. Maybe it's something even more minute, but.
Well, the rover, one of the mission parameters for the rover there is that it detects biological building blocks or biological life or proteins, anything to do with biology. Even fossils, paleo microbiology or whatever. And that's, everybody has said that that's the discovery, that it's going to be something to do with biology. Well, now it's being waffled. I'm going to call it a conspiracy. They squashed the space turkey.
More than likely.
Right.
They're trying to hold back on the space turkey goodness.
Right. They've
realized how awesome the space turkey is and what it could do for the humankind, and they want it all for themselves.
And how tasty it is.
I say nonsense. So we should actually get online, and we should start the space turkey conspiracy.
Free the space turkeys.
Free the space turkeys.
Right.
What they do to you? I heard they're delicious.
Yeah, and then on the other side, we could collect money and say it's for like shark or PETA, Astro PETA, right?
Yeah. We can start our own foundation.
Yeah.
Be like protect the organisms, space organisms.
So, right, we could be the forefront and the forerunners,
Right.
just because they haven't discovered life.
So we're just thinking ahead. That's all.
Right.
Planning for the future.
They come to us for the forward-thinking ideas.
That's right. Well, before we start exploiting, these
space turkeys.
Well, animals.
Yeah.
Extraterrestrial animals, because eventually we'll exploit them.
Right.
I will.
If you're given a space suit, you'll eat the space turkey.
That's right. So we're just in advance prepping. That's all.
That's right. And
Speedo.
Yeah.
What will be called?
And you could do recipes how to cook space turkeys, and then
That's
you
right.
could have.
We'll wear aluminum hats and speedos, and we'll call it Speedo.
Speeda, right?
Speda, I guess it would be.
Right. Speeding the space turkeys to our gullet, right?
That's right.
All right.
You want to get some space turkeys? I'll show you where to go.
Well, they're hiding the space turkeys from us. They need to release the information that they have on space
It's only
turkeys.
fair. All right? It's only fair.
It is. We're here on Earth, right here, right now, and they're keeping this valuable information and the space turkeys from us.
Yeah, it's like somebody had an orchard of delicious apples, and they wouldn't let you partake in the eating of those delicious apples. Psh,
You're right.
nonsense. They have a riot on their hands. What they got?
That's right. I'm thinking pitchforks and burning tar and
Heck yeah.
everything.
Somebody's getting feathered.
Yeah.
But and like I said, I kind of had a tough time this week trying to find some technology news.
Yeah.
And so I went with a study.
Okay.
And and the only reason I went with the study is because of the people that were studying it. I thought it was hilarious. Basically the study is yawning's contagious and can kill you.
Uh-oh.
Right. So the studies at the Van Winkle Institute.
You're not making this up.
I'm not. This is right here. It's what is it? What website is this? This is the science.
Van Winkle.
Yeah. This is scienceanddiscovery.com. So the studies at the Van Winkle Institute will prove once and for all that the affliction that teenagers at a family gathering with cousins that are too young or too old for them to get along with, try to tell the world about it, is real. A person can be bored to death. So that's what they're studying.
Uh-oh.
But like I said, I just because of the people, I didn't know there was a Van Winkle Institute, but apparently there is, and they are serious about this yawn thing. So I'm glad they got that under control. I can sleep better at night.
You know, I mean, if I was a multimillionaire or billionaire, I mean, I think the Van Winkle Institute would be the place to put my money.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they study the sleep and the yawns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're just trying to warn the world that yawning can be deadly. So be careful.
Yeah.
Don't bore yourself to death.
Don't bore yourself to death. Watch our podcast.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're in danger.
We're doing a public service.
That's right. Keeping you from boredom and death.
That's right.
That's our job.
Might not be a lot of flashy logos and advertising, but you know what? We're saving your life, people.
That's right.
Respect.
and we got a room full of researchers in the back that dig this stuff up and give it to us.
That's right.
So we can, give it to you.
Yeah. So, like I said, doing you a service. But
Exactly.
did you have your story? Or was that? Did
That
you do
was
your
two.
last? Yeah, you
Yeah.
did yours. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll be moving on. And at this point in the podcast, me and Ron like to pit against each other, and the battle of the weirdest states, and and we call this the strangest state in the union.
I'm winning.
And now, the strangest state in the Union.
Okay, a little back history. Basically, what we do here is we find the weird and obscene of a particular state in the union, and we say for this week, this is the strangest state in the union, and then Ron's going to go. He's not, or he'll probably go first, but he say that he has found the strangest state in the union. And then we let you, the viewer, decide who has the strangest state in the union. And it's been really kind of hit or miss, to be honest with you. The last couple of weeks, we decided to steer away from Florida because it's just too easy. And we decided, we don't know why it's so easy, but it is. And we decided to go ahead and say hands off Florida because that's almost cheating. We in unison have said that obviously Florida is the strangest state in the union, but we are going to declare another state strangest state in the union. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I agree. Florida's off limits, and it's just no challenge. You type in weird news, and Florida's there. I mean, it takes up the majority of the search. So we're working harder for you guys. So I went with the runner-up state, which is New Jersey. Now, in the 1800s. There was a large estate, the Rutherford Stuyvesant, Stuyvesant estate, and they were a very wealthy family. They had a mansion. They had lots and lots of property, and of course, families lose their money. They move off. Whatever happened to this estate, who knows? But in the 60s, the state bought land for Interstate 80, and they split the estate in two sections. Now, around 1959, the old manor house burnt down and was bulldozed. I'm sure that's a story in itself of what happened there. But anyway, on one part of this section, there are a number of buildings, about a half a dozen of them, and they were living quarters for servants, probably workshops, so on and so forth. They're very old, and they have a Gothic architecture that harkens back to earlier times. But the interesting thing about these buildings, they're all decayed and in total disrepair. They're basically falling apart. But on these buildings, they are now called profanity houses, because on every surface of these buildings, inside and out, are written profane sayings. Yeah. And the person, it's the work of one person. It's taken this one person, and this is in a desolate area, many hours to write these profanities, and they're all directed toward a fellow named Mark. So Mark, you're on somebody's list, and they have cursed you a billion times. Well, not a billion, I'm sure, in their minds, but many times. But it's just strange as heck. Yeah, I'm gonna say I win.
That was a pretty diluted story. I'm not gonna lie to you. I learned more about the architecture of the building than I did the weirdness of the state. And I don't even think you said the state's name, did you? Or you said New Jersey? Yeah.
Carpenter Gothic architecture.
Yeah, that's weird.
Carpenter Gothic, and it's but you can go there for the graffiti. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to mine because it's not that much better, but I think it will be superior.
Nah. I mean, cursing on wood. I mean,
say that to yourself out loud.
Cursing on wood.
All right. Now, that does not sound exciting to me.
Well, what's interesting to me is the fact that someone would spend so much time. Obviously, they have a lot of time. It's the same person, and they've got a vendetta against Mark and his mother, and even the cabinets, on the inside of the cabinets, that they have writing. There's writing everywhere.
I don't care. It was pretty diluted. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to state a case for mine.
Okay.
So I'm trying to make yours look as bad as possible.
Should I do the same?
Well, that's kind of the point.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, a Massachusetts man just can't get a break. Literally, he was driving down the road and in his Ford pickup truck. And he's apparently his brakes failed, so he stuck his leg out to try to stop it with his left leg. He said to the police officer. Well, and then shortly after that, his leg was pulled from underneath him, and then he was ran over by his own truck. Well, that is not the end of this.
That's not the end?
Not the end of this sad story. When I said the man can't get a break, the police officer ticketed the man after being run over by his own truck. For the reason of operating a vehicle that basically an unsafe vehicle.
So insult to injury.
Yeah, so minor leg injury. Let's see here. Reported he was issued a $35 citation for driving with a defective equipment, and he was delivered that in the hospital room.
Right.
So that apparently it's a Massachusetts thing. They don't care if you get ran over by your own truck. They're still going to ticket you.
They're going to give you the ticket. Right?
But the man called the cops on himself, obviously. When the police officer arrived, he found Reynolds face down and face down.
The cell phone.
Face down, ran over by his own truck.
Well,
only in Massachusetts.
Only in Massachusetts.
Because he was going to pull a Flintstone, is what he was thinking. He was like, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop this car with my foot.
Well,
but that just didn't work out for him.
That was mighty stupid. But I don't think it can hold a candle to mine. This is what happens when you get too angry, and you know, I mean, graffiti everywhere.
You're obviously delusional, because my story was far superior. Well, and I'm sorry, I don't argue with crazy people.
Okay. My story was superior.
That's how it's done, sir.
That's how
you wouldn't argue it. Call the person crazy and then say, I don't argue with crazy people.
Okay. Well, there's winners and there's losers.
There's crazy people.
and then there's no. This was well thought out on my part. Now, just a question on the guy. I mean, he kept his leg.
He was ran over.
Yeah, he did keep his leg. They didn't go into.
No,
I mean,
they didn't.
It
was a pretty short article. It didn't really go into detail about his injuries or anything.
Okay.
But it said that he was 40 years old. He got ran over by a 1987 pickup, his own, and then got ticketed.
Yeah.
But he said his brakes locked up, which is kind of contradictory to what
brakes locked
He
up.
says his brakes locked up. Well, if your brakes locked up, you don't got a problem.
Right.
But maybe they just misused it in the article. Maybe he said maybe his brakes went out and they just used the wrong terminology.
I'm gonna say that if the truth were known, he was riding around in a vehicle that the brakes had been failing for a long time, and he really didn't want to do anything about it. And catastrophic brake failure is very rare,
And
actually. It can.
The truth be known, he was smoking bath salts and high on space turkey.
He had a big load.
He
of
thought he
space
was
turkey.
invincible. Stuck his foot out the door to stop his 1987 pickup.
So
To no avail, because he had obviously not consumed enough space turkey.
So let that be a lesson to you folks. Don't mix bath salts and space turkey.
There you go.
And drive your brake failing truck into oblivion.
You will get a $35 ticket from the state of Massachusetts for driving defective equipment. I just thought it was funny they delivered it to him in the hospital.
Oh.
It's not like they. It's like the cop forgot to ticket him, and then he was like, "Oh,
by the way,
here's a ticket."
After the fact,
I'm like, what a dick. Anyway,
the cop was probably worried about his safety, and it probably blew it off. And then he got to thinking about it and says, I just can't let this one go.
yeah, I got to ticket him. But anyway, if you head over to bluejuju.com, that's where you can leave all your comments and love and admiration for our lovely podcast that we have here. It's right.
And money.
Yeah, well, that's probably not going to happen either. But nonetheless, it is available for you to comment on in the section down below. Also, you can get a hold of us on Twitter. bluejuju_cast is where we are available. And we obviously post all of these on YouTube. And if you're watching, you probably know that because it's probably where you're watching it. But, we do live stream every Saturday at, we try to do it at 3 o'clock, but today we were a little early just for shits and giggles. We didn't feel like waiting around.
That's right. We don't want to upset our massive audience.
That's right.
But, hey.
One of these days, we're going to get some crazy old lady, and she's going to be obsessed. She's gonna be tuning in every week. That's what she's going to live for. We're going to keep her alive.
That's right, because we're going to keep the boredom away.
That's right.
And we're on the hunt for space turkeys.
That's right. She's like, space turkeys? This world's getting crazier and crazier. Back in my day, we just had regular turkeys.
But now, they got the real deal space turkeys.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, well, that's going to do it for our Battle of the States. But do not worry. We have more.
We got two.
We have more programming lined up for you guys. Every week, we like to delve into the strange conspiracies of the world that happen, and we call that segment Conspiracy Corner. And we don't have a caption for it, but don't worry, we do have one. Hitler Baby.
Ah, yeah.
Hitler Baby. See, that's why the people in India
want Hitler.
Or
they love Hitler. Yeah,
well,
they love the baby too.
They love the baby.
They've seen the baby.
Yeah. They're like, it's Hitler Baby. It's awesome. He's very influential.
Right. He was probably sweet when he was a baby.
This is highbrow stuff here, guys.
As all babies are.
This is highbrow comedy. So.
That's right. You can't get any better than this. And we actually spoon feed you some information every once in a while.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Right. I mean, you can get it from both sides. You can get a little bit of intellectualism, and you can tickle your funny bone there.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
but nonetheless, do you have a conspiracy for us?
Yeah, I've got the conspiracy. We're told that civilization is about I don't know 4,000 or 5,000 years old, maybe 10,000 years old.
Well, we know that to be false. But what are they saying these days?
We know it to be very false. They've just uncovered the oldest stone spear tips. And they're not 10,000. They're not 20,000 years old. They're not 50,000 years. They are 500,000 years old. Shaboom.
It's a long time to be monkeying around.
Well, these are not monkeys. They knew.
I'd have been close to it.
Well, no. I mean, I'm looking. You see the. You can find this on topsecret.com, Ancient and Lost Civilizations. And the spear points, they're not, some of them, the one on the left is actually pretty well made. Now, the others, they're not that well made, but they're definitely spear points. They would definitely.
Were they made from stone?
Yeah.
How did they carbon date it then?
Probably with the objects around it. Probably with the fiber and they can carbon date charcoal. So they can't carbon date wood because it rots. But
Except for petrified wood.
Well, yeah, they could.
Oh.
Well, petrified wood is not really wood. It's wood replaced by mineral deposits. So it's not really wood. Actually, they can guess how old petrified wood is, but they can't tell you exactly. They can much better tell you how old something is if they can carbon date something that's around it. They can tell you the probable age of the deposits of petrified wood, but not exactly.
Well, I'm just saying it was wood at one time. It's like saying an adult was never a baby, because it was.
Yeah, but when they do the carbon dating, they need some carbon, so they can't do anything with stone. But the other things found around it, namely charcoal, they can carbon date. So this charcoal that they found in the deposits, along with the spear points, was 500,000 years old. And they're pretty. That just blows away the theory that civilization is something new, because.
Well, these are spear points. This isn't civilization. This is probably far back in the hunter-gatherer.
Yeah, but it's what do you consider civilization?
Civilization is where you have a society.
TVs
you have a society. That's the exact definition of a civilization.
Well, they had one. Because they had
of groups of 3 or 4 or 5.
Well,
it's not civilization. The civilization is ancient Rome. So the civilization is
these are bitch and spear points.
Things of that nature. I'm just saying they're obviously they're probably hunter and gathering still. I'm assuming.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so they're probably still pretty close to our ancient brother in the monkey.
Right, but
a few steps out of the trees, if you will.
But they've pushed back the dating of pottery as well. I think they pushed it back to around 20,000 years ago. And knowing something about pottery, if pottery is not well fired, it will disintegrate. It will disintegrate over a period of time. So you could have pottery that was,
I'm not doubting it. We've been around for a very long time. But what I am saying is we were probably just got out of the trees.
Well,
and didn't have civilization, as you put it.
Flint knapping is not an uncomplicated art. It is a skill. There are people that spend their lives doing it, and I've actually met a couple people that are flint knappers, and to learn it, you have to develop the skill over a period of years. It's not just something that you pick up and say, okay, I want to flint knap. So that means that you either discover it yourself, or were, in this case, no doubt, taught by other individuals. So
All right, well, a full-grown chimpanzee has the same mathematical abilities as a 5-year-old. All right, so they are smart, and I'm sure that they could flint nap if taught.
Well, we need some flint napping chimps. There you go. All you people out there looking for money to waste your studies on, you need to take a group of chimpanzees, show them flint napping, and give them bananas as rewards, and see if they can do it. I mean,
you know what? They did do a study
Yeah?
where they would give they were testing like basically how money works in a society.
Right.
And they gave it to chimps, and they kind of they showed them the worth of it. Like they could get something, and
Worth money.
if they gave it,
Right.
like if they would give the banana to them, they would get something in return. So they realized that these bananas were valuable, and so after a while they realized these bananas are valuable. You know what they did?
They hoarded them.
No. No. They gave them to the females, and the females had all the bananas because they wanted sex. So all the males just gave them the bananas, and then they got sex in return. And
So the women.
prostitution earlier than we thought. 500,000 years old.
Is that the way it works? Dang.
Well.
No wonder I couldn't get a date in high school.
That's right. You got to buy it.
You gotta buy it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, to a degree.
The oldest profession in the world. That's right.
Yeah, and the second oldest is politician.
I doubt that. But anyway, I have a conspiracy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And last week I was talking about JFK. Now I'm talking about KFC.
They're using space turkeys.
Well, last week,
Yeah.
if you remember, I said the gays killed JFK. Right, that was the conspiracy.
It's
I've
well known.
Well, I've moved on, but back in JFK's era, I believe it was I guess it was the 1960s, 1970s. It was believed that the KKK had they were. It was a conspiracy to sterilize black men because let's see here. I want to explain it like they did. They had a common perception. The KKK had a common perception of African Americans was that they ate nothing but fried chicken and watermelons. So they saw. That's what I said. And they said in the 1980s, the KKK had been accused of forming KFC establishments, and the 7 herbs and spices were supposedly supposed to sterilize black men and leave white men unharmed.
I'm not unharmed.
That's right.
It was the genetic bullet, right? So it depended on your man.
This is a real conspiracy. It is.
Those crafty Klansmen, they were into biological chemistry so that they could target black people with their 7 herbs and spices.
Well, right? The conspiracy is that the KFC is actually ran by the KKK.
Right. Collecting money from black folks.
Well, they said it's
right?
it was a plot to sterilize them. So that was it.
Man, and they could. I wonder how that works if you were like half black and half white. You'd be half sterilized, maybe, or.
Oh, they didn't have that kind of integration back then.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying that that's obviously a worthy plot there. Worthy plot. Yeah.
In the KKK, they don't care if you were half black. If you were half black, then it was still too much black for them.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty racist.
Yeah.
Throw that out there.
I guess they didn't hear that news that all our ancestors came from Africa, right?
Yeah. Well, that was before the internet. So.
Oh yeah. Well.
Before people got educated.
And so you're 250,000 generations back, we all lived in Africa, right?
Well, apparently that's just a little, too distant.
We're all related. Guess what?
We're all inbred. We're the only species to go through 7 different bottlenecks. You know what that means? It means somebody was diddling somebody's sister. That's right. I said it.
You said it right there. There was incest in the past.
There was 7 times apparently.
7 times, yeah. There were just too few and too.
There's still incest in Kentucky.
and the royal family.
Apparently. That's why they're so funny looking. That's right, royal family. I said it.
Well, the Habsburg lip. Yeah.
I guess I don't know what that means.
Well, it's a famous study. They took portraits of medieval rulers, and there was they traced it to Habsburg Germany. So a lot of people married their cousins and even closer than that back then to keep the bloodline pure. Well, the lips started to predominate.
Fall off.
No, it was the Habsburg lip. You can look it up online.
Oh, I'm
started to predominate, and that's
Is that where the hair lip comes from?
probably.
That's
It's
what I
kind of
thought.
a hair lip. It's a weird lip. I can't really describe it. You have to, if you did a search on the Habsburg lip and Google images, you'd see it right away. And that's probably why
We're all big freak of nature folks. That's
Yeah.
that's what we're getting at.
probably why them royals started taking people from outside, like Princess Diana, to beef up the breeding stock there, so that they wouldn't all get those lips and
Well,
shit.
something had to happen. You've seen the royal family. They're not exactly beautiful people.
Yeah, well, that's from lots of that, Prince Charles, and well, that's why they got Diana, because they were just getting they were gonna get sued for ugly.
Yeah. That was it. See, we bring it all full circle for you folks.
They're getting sued for ugly.
That's right. But that's not do it for our conspiracy corner, I do believe.
Right.
But we do have one more segment that we like to bring to you, and we call it. Basically, we look for the internet. We give you a question to take home and think about, and then we tell you on the next podcast if if it was true or false. And since we didn't do it last week, we don't have an explanation for you, but we do have a question. So we call it speculative or apodictic. Is it
Speculative.
or
Apodictic.
Right. Okay. A lot of people believe that venting anger is better than keeping it in check. Is that speculative or apodictic? Some people have said that if you keep anger inside you all the time, that or curb your anger, that it can lead to things like cancer and other physical problems. That anger is in actuality good for you. Is it or not?
Well, you have to tune in next week to find out the answer to speculative or apodictic.
I feel angry.
But I'm about to Hulk out right now.
Yeah.
Hulk smash.
Oh.
But anyway, that's actually that's not do it for our podcast, and we are right on the nose. We got 2 minutes left of our podcast. So
Yeah.
in the remaining 1 minute now, actually, is there anything you'd like to say to sign off, sir?
I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank the audience.
We see you, audience,
That's right.
and you're beautiful. we
We-
love you.
We see the massive amount of views that we're getting on YouTube, and we thank you all.
I think one of our podcasts has 11.
11?
No, there's a couple of them that have like 20 or something on there, but
We need another
Not
podcast
that popular.
with 11. So that
and
we
and
can
we're
have 11,
we're
11.
giving all this love,
We
so
give the
we're
love.
giving the love to you.
We
guys.
scour the internet. We do it all for our viewing audience.
That's right.
And Jonas is doing a lot of animation. Is there anything you'd like to say about that? Yeah.
No.
Oh, I know. You want your animation book.
No. Well, I have another channel that's I put animations on. If you'd like to check that out, it's called Smod Cartoon.
Yeah.
And I got a new animation on there. On YouTube, so check it out.
Right. And what was it? Newgrounds has how many views on that?
It's around 15,000 right now.
15,000. Massive.
Massive. But we will join you next week, same time, same internet place, and that's gonna do it for you guys, for us guys.
Yep. Had a great time.
Have a good week.